What's up YouTube? Welcome back to Jackal Gold Games, and in this video I'm going to be doing another console review, and the console I'm going to be reviewing this time is the Xbox 360. Now this will be a fun one to do because personally this is my favorite video game console of all time. I think it's the best video game console of all time, and I'm going to get into why that is. Now the Xbox 360 is a console that came out I believe in 2005 or it could have been 2006. It was in the mid 2000s, seventh generation console. And I got an Xbox 360 in the seventh generation. I had the white model. Now, when I started in gaming, I started with the N64, then I had the Super Nintendo, then I had the PS2, and then going into the seventh generation, I had the Xbox 360. Now, at launch, I had games like GTA 4 and Dynasty Warrior 6 and Def Jam Icon, which Def Jam Icon wasn't that great. GTA 4, it was okay. I beat it once, but I don't go back to it. I didn't go back to it as much as other GTA games. Maybe my opinion would change one day, but that is my least favorite GTA, to be honest with you. It just didn't hit me as much as the other GTA games. But Dynasty Warrior 6, out of that bunch, I would say would probably be the best launch game I did play. Even nowadays, when I revisit it, I had fun with it. And then as more games came out and played more of the games, the 360 just really took off. And then especially in the 2010s, when I got internet and experienced the Xbox Live for the 360, that's when it really changed the game. So let's get into the review of the Xbox 360, starting with the console. Now, one of the things I will get into real quick that is a common problem with the Xbox 360 and something that does suck, and I experienced this, the red ring of death. That was a really bad thing with the Xbox 360. It was a huge issue where the system would have these like red rings, and sometimes there would be a disk tray issue that happened in being where you put the disk in, it wouldn't read, it would say open tray. And this was a problem with the 360s early on. Now they fixed it later on with the later models and models like this. I mean, to be fair, I heard the PS3 had issues as well with yellow light of death, though they said it wasn't as bad. And the PS3 had some problems with certain ports compared to 360. So, there was a lot of issues in the 7th generation, that's for sure, but they eventually addressed those issues in later 360 models. I think I think what they said was the cause behind it was like the disc tray or something. There's like a whole story behind it. But I know they lost a lot of money over that. It was a problem, and I did experience it. Sometimes you could temporarily fix it by cleaning it, but the later models for me, like the Slim model, I didn't have that issue, and this, which is the Xbox 360e model, didn't have the problem. So aside from that, issue, it is a pretty good console in my opinion. So let's get into the system. So this is the Xbox 360e model. Now, long story of why I have this model, which I'll get into, but the system itself looks pretty cool. I always made the joke that it looks like the Xbox One if it lost weight. It looks like the Xbox One base design, but skinny. It's got that glossy look, which it does look nice, but it's a fingerprint magnet, but consoles will get dirty regardless. Got the Xbox 360 logo there, the disc tray. It's buttons, you press, turn it on. There's a green light there that shows up. You open the disc tray. Some of the 360 models were touch, but this is button pressing. Then you have a little thing right here where you can plug USBs into. And then you got these like things on top and bottom and the side for air, which is good, so you get as much air out of the system as possible. That also could have been another reason for the red ring possibly overheating. And on the back, you have a power cable, which turns the system on. It's where you plug in the power. You have HDMI. You also have an AV input, and you also have HDMI input, Ethernet, whatever this thing is, and then USB plugins. Now, some of the 360 models started with AV plugins. Some of them had component cables, and then eventually got HDMI. So HDMI was the new format over the cables, and I think it's a pretty good upgrade, and I think it's a lot better than the cables, that's for sure. So that's what the system looks like. Now, when it comes to the Xbox 360 model that I have, essentially the story is originally I had the white Xbox 360 model, and that system had red ring issues, and then eventually we got the Xbox 360 Slim model, the black one. And that one was good, and it didn't have any problems, but due to my stupidity, it got console banned. I was a kid, and I had access to someone's account, and I did things on there I shouldn't have. They had money on there, their parents had a credit card on there, and I spent money on there, and money that I didn't own. And I got in trouble. I got console banned. It was pretty dumb. And eventually, I got a new 360 model, which is the E model, Definitely didn't make that same mistake again. But this is a pretty good model. I haven't had any issues with it. If you were to get an Xbox 360, I would definitely say get this one. It's a really nice one in my opinion. So the system itself, I think, works really well. It fits right on the desk or wherever you put under your TV. I think it's, compatible with the size and stuff. The UI interface for the Xbox 360, I think, is pretty cool. I've always liked the UI, definitely a lot more than the Xbox One UI. It also has backwards compatibility with original Xbox games, though it's kind of mixed. Some games work really well, some games have issues, some games have more issues than others. I think I've dabbled here and there with some of the backwards compatibility, like GTA 3, for instance, but my copy of GTA 3 is just too messed up. It ain't gonna work. But it's nice that it has it. And you have your UI interface, you have your game homepage, and this system has Xbox Live. Well, it used to have its Xbox 360 store, but it was shut down, but it still does have Xbox Live. And that's one of the things I'm going to get into for why this is my favorite console. Because with video game consoles, the N64, Super Nintendo, PS2, there may have been some co-op and multi-tap with PS2, but I didn't have internet for a while, and I never got to experience online gaming. And online gaming became really huge, especially around this time with 360, because Xbox 360 did have better online and internet than the PS3 did. Even though I will say PS3 online was free, 360 got to pay for it. Which looking back is pretty lame because on PC you can play online for free. But back then I didn't really think too much of it, enjoying the 360. I mean, at least it's a good console generation, but I don't think they should make you pay for online. I do think it's dumb. But the online service for the Xbox 360 is awesome. And it's one of the reasons I love the console because it became more than just a game console for me. That's why it's my favorite and why I hold it the highest. Because not only the games, which I'll get into, but we'll talk about the Xbox Live. In the 2010s, when I got to experience the internet and finally get to experience the Xbox Live for 360, it was mind blowing. Experiencing talking to people for the first time online, going in party chats, sending voice messages, having friends lists, meeting all kinds of people on video games, playing online co op with people. Some of the games I really enjoyed playing online with was like the Gears of War series, Gears of War 3 especially. It's probably my favorite online game to play. I met so many cool people playing Gears of War 3 and the online multiplayer, the Horde. Just the concept of getting into party chats with people, making friends, messaging, and meeting people on there and, playing online in games. That stuff is just awesome and fun. Being able to be in a party chat and talk with friends if you're playing a single player game and they're playing a single player game just awesome. I love the Xbox Live infrastructure. There was trash talk on there. Some people could be crazy and rude. And I feel like there wasn't as much restrictions. If someone talks shit, you talk shit back. You're not going to get flagged or reported. Whereas Xbox One is way more strict in that regard, which I don't like. You have your avatar system where you can create your own avatar and customize them, make them look like you. You have profile pictures, gamer pictures, which is pretty cool. You got gamer tags. You got achievements, which I like the achievement system, getting achievements for games, getting your gamer score up. Some of the achievements in Xbox 360 would get you unlocks in games, which is pretty cool. And, some people would, try to get the highest score of achievements. Some people really got high up there. And, some people would host true achievements sites. They'd have like sessions where people could join. And yeah, the Xbox Live infrastructure, I think, for the Xbox 360 was amazing. And all the stuff on the store, some of the digital re-releases of like Resident Evil 4 HD, which I do own. The Resident Evil Code Veronica. There's many other titles that were released digitally. All the add-ons and expansions. Now, I don't have an issue with expansions or add-ons. It's just like the DLC and microtransactions, especially how they are now. Those I don't like. But expansions, like for example, Fallout New Vegas' expansions, I think those are acceptable because those are bang for your buck and you get a lot of content. And a lot of times they would get physical versions at least. So the Xbox Live for this system is phenomenal, and it's what really propelled this console for me. And because it's like I got a console that has really good games, and I also get this cool online experience. It's amazing. And what else was I going to say about the system? It has music with it. Like basically, what I mean is you can take CDs and burn them on the console, make your own music playlist. That's another really cool feature I love. You can watch movies on this thing, which is really nice as well. You can put DVDs in here. And I would burn a lot of CDs on this system and have a lot of music on it. I thought that was pretty cool because I used to like listen to music while playing, Gears of War 2 private matches with bots and all other kinds of games. It was really useful for that feature, especially back in the day when I didn't have as much access to a computer now and a phone and all this access to music. It was one of the nice ways to listen to music back in the day. Put a CD in, burn it, pretty cool. Just had a lot of great features. And, yeah, I'm just trying to cover the basis of like the system itself and the UI, but just overall a solid system, an overall solid infrastructure when it comes to how it works in general. You have Internet Explorer, you have Bing, you have all the apps you can download, at least when you could. You got movies on there, music, like I mentioned. You got a storage, there's a capacity of certain storage, like some 360 miles have more storage than others. And yeah, so that's what I gotta say about the system itself. Now let's get into the controller and then eventually some of the games. I'm gonna put this to the side. Yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention. This is what the power brick looks like. You just plug it into the 360, but I'm gonna set it over to the side. We're gonna get to other things about the system. Maybe I'll try to have it like in the corner for view purposes if I can. So let's get into the controller. This is a great controller. Now, I used to rag on Xbox for their batteries until I discovered, I don't know why I didn't know this for the longest time, you can buy batteries that you can charge. Yeah, you can buy rechargeable AA batteries and charge them over and over again. Didn't even know that. But for this one, that's not exactly what I have. I have some rechargeable batteries, which are called Nikos, which it's been I've had these for a long time, but they're really nice, which I'll get into those. So let's get to the controller. So the overall look of the Xbox 360 controller is nice. Either get the black, you got black controllers, you got white controllers, but I think this controller looks really nice. You have your analog sticks, which are placed differently than the PlayStation controller. They feel pretty nice. They click. I like the good analog sticks. Now, some 360 controllers could have issues with like when you start to walk, the character stops. That was a problem. But these kind of controllers, at least these ones, I haven't had any problems to be honest. This one has worked really well for me for a very long time. It's a solid controller. I like the D-pad. Some people say the D-pad isn't that great, but I don't mind it myself. It doesn't bother me that much. To be honest, I don't mind it. I like the colors of like these buttons. You have your X, A, B, and Y. Nice colors. They feel pretty good. You have the middle button, which you use this to hold down and access the menu, dashboard, turn it on. You have your start and you have your select button. So start and back, those buttons work really nice. And the way it feels on the front, press the buttons, solid. And then you also have the bumpers and you have the triggers. RBLB, they feel pretty nice. They look really nice. You have the triggers, they feel pretty nice. These are some great triggers. And then you have the battery pack. So, yeah, I got these, like I said, they work pretty well for me. You basically put them in and you put them in this thing, which is a charge base stand. You put them on here and you plug them into the wall and you charge your controller. And this is basically how I use my controllers. You can also get like official 360 charging stands as well. And you also have like a thing that plugs in, which I don't think I ever really used that much. But I recommend this if you don't want to keep buying batteries over and over again. So yeah, pretty good. I have another one of these as well. I don't know how I ended up with two. I think one of these kind of has problems. Some of them works. When you put the controller on, it lights up right there. So this is pretty nice to have, I think, for sure. So overall, the Xbox 360 controller is awesome, and it's very comfortable to hold in your hands. I really love how it just fits in the hands nicely. These are my favorite kind of controllers where they actually fit in your hand. That was one of the issues I had with the PS2 controller as well. I like the PS2 system, and I do like the controller. It's too small. I like how this one just fits right into your hands. So, yeah, awesome controller. Love it. Now let's get into the games, which is, of course, one of the most important aspects of a system, if not the most important. And this is another reason why the Xbox 360 is my favorite console of all time. Because, man, where I even start with the amazing library the system has. So I'm going to get into the highlights and just some of the games I own. I'm not going to go through my whole collection. Let's start with an exclusive franchise on the system that I absolutely love, and it's one of the best things about the Xbox 360, the Gears of War series. Man, I love this franchise. You have Gears of War 1, which is an awesome game, great campaign. Love the dark horror tone, love the campaign. Multiplayer that I eventually did try was fun, but back then I couldn't play it because there was no bots and I didn't have internet. But this is a really good game. The disc is missing and manual. I have like a few copies of some of these Gears games, but this is just to show, you know, great game. The one I have that I use like a 2 disc one that has like a bonus disc, but yeah, this is a great game. I remember when I first got introduced to Gears of War, it was at someone's place. When I first played it, I sucked at the game. I was horrible at it. And then I eventually played it more as time went on. But the main one I got into was Gears of War 2, which I'll get into. But great game. One of the best games on Xbox 360. One of the many reasons it's my favorite console. This game is awesome. I went back to the campaign a lot of times just because I love the dark horror tone, fighting the Locust, Roms, cool villain, Marcus, Dom, Cole, Baird, iconic characters, man. So this is a great game. And then you have, the sequel, Gears of War 2, another awesome game, great sequel in the series. This is when I really got into the Gears of War series. I got this game for Christmas. We got this for Christmas, and I played this game a lot. I enjoyed it a ton. It's got a great campaign. What I love about Gears of War 2 is it actually has bots in the multiplayer. Unlike the first one where you had to have internet, because when you play the multiplayer in this game, you can actually play offline matches. You can play as COG characters, Locust characters, and I just really love this game. A lot of nostalgia memories for this game, playing it for years. I got a lot of nostalgia and, special place in my heart for Gears of War 2 because I played this game a lot with my brother. Me and my brother played this game a ton. Me and him were both into Gears of War. We both like the series a lot, but me and him played Gears of War 2 a lot, from the campaign, playing it on Insane, to playing multiplayer a lot. Just a lot of special connection there, and, playing this game with certain friends of mine, you know, just that aspect of it. This game had a great campaign, fighting Locust, and, the multiplayer with bots, that was a huge deal for me back then because we didn't have internet. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, it really opened up replay value for this game. And it's just a really good sequel to Gears of War. It's how you do a sequel. It's awesome. Really like it. Good voice acting, good graphic style, cool cast of characters. Just a really good third person shooter, and just an awesome series. Another highlight on the Xbox 360. It's a shame they haven't tried to re release this game yet. So, yeah, this game is just phenomenal. It's great. And you have more Gears of War games. Personally, this is my favorite one because of just the experience and Xbox Live, and that is Gears of War 3. Personally, my favorite in the series. Has a great campaign, great multiplayer. Now, the disc, I don't know where it is, but this is a great game. The reason this is my favorite is because Gears of War 1 and 2 were awesome games. Phenomenal. But Gears of War 3 came out around the time that I got to jump into Xbox Live, jump into online play. And I got to experience that, and that's what holds this higher for me than 1 and 2 because of like the online horde, online multiplayer, which I really got into. The ROM Shadow expansion, which is awesome because I love Michael Barrett. The ROM Shadow expansion for this game is incredible. It's great, and I just love that aspect. And there was crazy things that happened in this game. Spoiler alert: they kill off, Dom's character, which is pretty messed up. When I first saw it, I was like, "What? No way!" It was pretty sad because he was a great character. I didn't believe it at first until the game was over. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's dead." Adam Phoenix comes back in this game. You got new weapons like a retro lancer and sawed-off shotgun, and you got a new character Chase, who I think is pretty cool. I wish he was used more in the current games over some of the lame, boring characters. And sadly, the last really good Gears of War game, but a solid 1, 2, 3 punch, because all first 3 Gears of War games are great, just really good quality, just banger after banger. So another huge highlight on the Xbox 360 for me. A really good exclusive to the Xbox 360, just amazing. You spent so much time in this game, the leveling up in multiplayer, you know, leveling up, getting characters, playing Horde, and it's like all the cool people I met. I met so many cool people on Xbox Live and cool friends through playing Gears of War 3 online and playing Horde and multiplayer. I met so many cool people. Technically the first YouTube video I was in was Gears of War 3, even though you couldn't hear me. I was in a multiplayer match with this guy who I had a falling out with, but yeah, it was just amazing game. There's even more games to get into now. I also have this one as well. It's not as good as the first three, but I'll take it over 4 and 5. Gears of War Judgment. That's what I like about the seventh generation. You have multiple games in a franchise, unlike the new console generation. Like, there's certain series where you're only going to get one game every generation. I think that's pretty lame because on 360 you got 4 Gears of War games, which is pretty cool. Now, Gears of War Judgment has some cool aspects. I mean, I do like the campaign and the other Aftermath campaign. Vaird's cool, seeing his past in the prequel. So it's a prequel. You got Cole, Baird when they were younger. You got cannot remember her name. She's an Onyx guard. Then you have Paddock, who's a pretty cool character, and I love Urza Loomis. He's a nice asshole type character. But it isn't as good as the first three Gears of War games because the controls are kind of like a first-person shooter where you press Y to switch your weapons. You can only carry two weapons, which I don't like. Even the way you throw grenades is like Call of Duty. And I don't like that they took out Horde mode and replaced it with Overrun. I don't like how you can't play as Locust in multiplayer. That's dumb. But compared to Gears 4 and 5, I'll take this over them. Because one of the things I do like a lot about Gears of War is the campaign, though I do like multiplayer as well. Multiplayer and to an extent Horde would be the main appeals of Gears 4 and 5 for sure. But when it comes to campaign, this is better than 4 and 5 because this actually had a good cast of characters and you fought Locusts, unlike Gears 4 where a while you're fighting robots, which is fucking stupid. You got a lame cast of characters that are boring as hell. It's even worse with Gears 5 because when they make JD interesting, he's not even the lead, unfortunately. And this game is just better than those ones, but it's not as good as the first three. If you're a fan of Gears of War, I think it is still worth playing, but I did regret pre-ordering this because it felt more like it could have been an expansion to Gears of War 3. And it was made by a different team, People Can Fly. But yeah, I still did have some fun though with this one on Xbox 360. I mean, at least we got 4 games in a series, which doesn't happen that much anymore. I mean, you got like one, you ain't even got a GTA game yet on the 8th generation, and we're still waiting for GTA 6, and GTA 7 probably won't come until consoles ahead. So there you go. Let's get into some more games. Another game, and this is personally my favorite Xbox 360 game of all time. This is another reason why I love this system. Fallout 3. This game is amazing. To me, this is my favorite game of all time. This is just a really good RPG. It is phenomenal. I love this game. When I first played it, I didn't know what to think of it because I never played a game like this. But once I really played it more and got to get what the game was about, I fell in love with this game. I was addicted to this game. I was hooked to this game. It was so bad that one of the friends I used to have, which I don't feel bad about this now because he turned on me for no reason, I had like neglected hanging out with him so I can go home and play more of this. Looking back, I'm proud of that choice because of how things turned out with him. But that's how much I love this game. I played it so much. It was so addictive. The open world aspect, getting into the world, the capital wasteland, making your character, leveling them up. The characters themselves you interact with in the world. The story itself, I like. Liam Neeson voicing your dad was pretty cool. You have other cool voice actors in there, like you got Malcolm McDowell as the voice of John Henry Eden. You got the Enclave, which looks pretty cool. You got the Brotherhood of Steel, which looks pretty cool. You got really cool enemies like super mutants and ghouls, and you got your Pit Boy. You got companions you can get. Just an amazing game. The experience was amazing. This is my favorite Bethesda game, my favorite Fallout game, my favorite video game of all time, just because of the experience, how hooked I was, how much I just loved it overall, and played it so much, and spent so many years playing it. I do have the add-ons, but they do have a Game of the Year edition, which I need to eventually get because the way I got the add-ons was I got them physically. They had individual add-on physically that I got, and then when I installed them, I traded them in. Mothership Zeta was only digital, so I eventually played that through digital in a different way, which was through the console band shit I did, which was stupid, which is the, spending money that wasn't mine. Mothership Zeta, you know, Operation Anchorage, Point Lookout, all those add-ons were phenomenal. Just a great game. I love Fallout 3. Would love to see this get a remaster and a re-release because it is incredible. So that's another highlight for me on the Xbox 360. Awesome game. Then some other games I'm going to get into for this system that are also highlights and another series I love. This is why 360 is my favorite system. You got Gears of War, you got Fallout 3, and then this next series that got its start on, man, this system cannot be touched in my opinion. The Dead Rising series, man. Fucking Dead Rising, dude. One of my favorite game series of all time. I got its start on the Xbox 360. Dead Rising 1. Amazing zombie game. Incredible. A great exclusive for Xbox 360. Really showed the next gen of, again, I don't know where the disc is, but really shows the next gen of the Xbox 360. It was a huge jump going from 6th gen to 7th gen because this was like one of the eventual launch titles for 360 exclusive. Graphic style, even now, looked pretty good, especially good for its time. All the zombies that were on screen, all these zombies you can fight, all these weapons you can use. Frank West was a really cool character because he was a photojournalist. It was different. It wasn't just another cop or a military character like it is in a lot of zombie games. You got great characters in here like Brad. You got great psychopaths, really cool music. It's an awesome zombie game, very challenging. It's got a horror tone to it. It's still the best Dead Rising in the series, in my opinion. And as a kid, this game scared me. It really did. I got more used to it as I got older. But this game is just phenomenal. One of the best Xbox 360 games. It is just amazing. So much fun. All the weapons you can use to kill the zombies with, the cool characters, the cool psychopaths you can fight. The story is really good. I love the chemistry with Frank and Isabella. Carlito is a really good villain. I could talk all day about how great this game is, but I love Dead Rising. I don't want to spend forever on each game because I'm not reviewing the games, but I'm just going over some of the best ones. But man, this game was incredible. It even has that text where it says this game was not developed, approved, or licensed by the owners or creators of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Because they tried to sue him because it's basically Dawn of the Dead game. It's based on the mall setting, but I still think there's enough differences between this and Dawn of the Dead, in my opinion. Dawn of the Dead didn't have psychopaths running around, photojournalists taking pictures or all the crazy shit going on. Didn't have cult members. That's another thing I love about Dead Rising. One of the cult members with their crazy mask, they were pretty scary. Special Forces soldiers, just an amazing game. Love Dead Rising 1. I'd like to eventually play the deluxe remaster if I ever get a next gen system, probably the PS5, but this did eventually get a remaster on PS4 and is on PC, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, really good game. It's awesome. Then you have the other ones as well, like Dead Rising 2, which is a really good sequel. And I don't think it's as good as Dead Rising 1 due to it not being as challenging, especially with Survivor AI being smarter. And, they didn't use the same engine, which originally they were supposed to, which I think was a mistake. And the frame rate kind of chugs more in the first game at times because they decided to put more zombies on screen rather than having more quality. And, you know, some of it felt like recycles of the first game, but it still is a pretty good sequel. It's definitely better than 3 and 4, I will say that. But Dead Rising 2 is another game I absolutely love on Xbox 360. This got me into the series because I was too scared to play Dead Rising 1 a lot when I was a kid, and I sucked at the game back when I played it. And when Dead Rising 2 came out, it came out in 2010 in September, and I got it as an early birthday gift because my birthday was a little after September, November. And I played this in 2010 at my grandma's, and this game just blew me away. I loved Dead Rising 2, played it a ton on Xbox 360. I just love this game. I remember reading about it in the Game Informer and just enjoying the game and playing it. I like the Psychopaths, I like the Fortune City setting. I like Sullivan. He's a really cool villain. I love TK. He's so over the top. He's so fucking fun. I love TK. Such an underrated villain. He's awesome. Kind of wish he was in the Dead Rising series as like the Wesker because he's just so cool. And Chuck Green, he was a pretty cool character. The combo weapons edition that wasn't in Dead Rising 1 where you could take like paddle a paddle thing with chainsaws, baseball bat with nails. You put chainsaws on a motorcycle, you know, combo vehicles, slicing through zombies, combo weapons. You got co-op in the game, which wasn't in the first game, and just a really good sequel. And even though they did remaster this game, if you play Dead Rising 2, stick with the Xbox 360 version, please, because despite some of the problems of like, not having the remaster benefits of higher resolution and frame rate, this is still the best version because the next gen version on PS4 crashes all the time. There's hair texture problems. You're missing Case Zero and Case West. On the 360, if you own them or if you have Xbox One or Series X, Case West and Case Zero tie in with this game, which are pretty nice. Case Zero, I love. That's pretty cool as well. Nice prequel. I love Jet as a boss. Case West was pretty cool. Frank and Chuck teaming up was really awesome. And yeah, just a really good game, man. A good sequel. So another great game on Xbox 360. And I did play co-op in this game and did enjoy it. The Terra's Reality mode I didn't mind, to be honest. But this game should have had sandbox mode, I think. That's for sure. So yeah, another solid game. Another game that's really good is Dead Rising 2 off the record. This was basically Dead Rising 2, but what if Frank West was in Dead Rising 2 instead of Chuck Green, which is pretty interesting. Got sandbox mode. People, wanted Frank West back, so they made this one. I actually need to buy this again on 360 because I gave my copy to an old ex-friend of mine. We were playing co-op and I own it digitally, but I would like to get it physically again because unfortunately when they remastered this game for the next gen systems, it's digital only and it's missing content technically, and it does have game crash issues, but not as bad as DR2. But it was a fun game to play. It was cool to go through Dead Rising 2 again as Frank West and, play as him. Chuck Green's your co-op partner. Sandbox mode is awesome. Having infinite time. Evan's pretty cool. Seeing Stacy as a villain is pretty cool. Seeing how Frank reacts in these situations. Psychopath Chuck was awesome. I love seeing that. And, it was just really cool. Now, I do prefer Dead Rising 2 personally because I just think there's aspects I like about it more. Like some of the things I don't like about this game, the looters will chase you compared to DR2. Your survivors will take way more damage when they're grabbed, which is stupid to me because you don't have time to go for them sometimes. Yeah, I know I want survivors to be hard to save, but Dead Rising 1 did it better at least because even though they were bad survivor AI, they were challenging and their health didn't drain like that. And I also don't care for the jump scare zombie shit that happens in this game. And, there's just little things I'm not the biggest on, but I still like it. It is still better than 3 and 4, and it is cool. I mean, they always planned Dead Rising 2 Director's Cut, but it's still cool they did this for people that wanted Frank West back. But I still personally prefer regular DR2. I didn't have an issue with Chuck Green, and there's just aspects of that game that work better for me. But still a really good game. Like I said, Dead Rising series. Another great series on 360. Another great series I'll get into that was exclusive, at least in the console wise, but it was on PC. Left 4 Dead series. Now, I don't own the first Left 4 Dead. I traded it in, which I regret. But the Left 4 Dead series is great. First game was awesome. Great first person shooter. Very unique. Very cool cast of characters. Bill, Francis, Zoe, Lewis. Just an awesome game. I loved playing it. It was also really good in co-op as well. It's one of the only first-person zombie games I think they really pulled off compared to the other ones that I don't really like all that much. Just an awesome game. I wish we got a third entry. Left 4 Dead 2, same thing. An awesome game, good sequel. Got this with my 360 Slim model. You got great characters like Nick. You got Coach. You got Ellis. You got Rochelle. Good cast of characters. Really cool maps like Dark Carnival. Just an awesome game. Sequel to Left 4 Dead 1. I mean, it is pretty similar to Part 1 because it was planned DLC. It just came out a year later. I feel like we never got a Left 4 Dead sequel that really jumped ahead like a sequel does, where it's been 2 years or 3 years. But it is still a pretty good game. I like Left 4 Dead 1 the most because of the horror tone, or because of like a lot of the maps being at dark time. I like the cast a little bit more and the pistols more. But I still like Left 4 Dead 2 a lot. It's an awesome sequel, very fun. Personally, my favorite character is Nick. I like Nick a lot, but yeah, awesome game. That's just another good series on 360. It's awesome. These games weren't on PS3. I think it's because Valve, at least Gabe Newell, he said he had problems with PS3's like development because PS3 was hard to develop for, from what I hear. That's probably one of the reasons the Left 4 Dead games were not on PS3. I do think they should re-release the Left 4 Dead series so they can finally be on PlayStation. They need to put them out on Nintendo system as well, but these games are awesome. They're also on PC as well. Some other cool games I'll go through. The Warriors games. I mean, I have a few of them. I got Warriors Orochi 2, which is a really good game. It was on PS2 and 360. This is an awesome game. It was a crossover of Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors. Great game. It has some bad slowdown and co-op, unfortunately, but Really fun game to play, really good hack and slash game. Love it a lot. Had a lot of fun with it. Orochi X, Orochi, all that stuff is really cool. Try to see where Warriors Orochi is. Yeah, I have it over here. Warriors Orochi, this is another great game too. This is the first one. It started it. Seeing all the characters meet for the first time, like seeing Cao Cao and Nobunaga meet. Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors meeting together for the first time is really cool. And I enjoy this one as well. I always thought it was cool how like this is why Nobunaga is one of my favorites. Wu had to work. They were, Wu and Ieyasu were, kidnapped by Daji and had to work with her. Shu had to be on the run, and then Kaopi and Mitsunari was like basically just infiltrating from the inside and pretending to be their allies. But Nobunaga was the only one who was like, "Fuck you! I'm going after you, Nobunaga, or I'm going after you, Orochi, and the Demon Army, and let's just get it." That's why. I thought that was just cool. Because Orochi's showing up, you see the cutscene, which is pretty cool. Nobunaga's just sitting there like, "Yep." He has no emotion to it. That's why Nobunaga's awesome. Great character, no emotion to it. It's like, yeah, I'm ready for it. So great games. Awesome games. Unfortunately, though, the exclusive content, which is like costumes for these, or at least costumes for Warriors Orochi 1 that weren't in this version, and then like some characters like Benkei, it's only in the PSP version of this game. We were supposed to get Warriors Orochi Z for both these games, but they canceled it, which sucks. I wish we would actually get that because it's got exclusive content, but these are still some pretty solid games to play on 360. Definitely recommend these. HD quality, achievements, all that stuff, really solid. And then some other games I'll get into, some other Warriors games. I mean, I got Samurai Warriors 2. My case got cracked and messed up when I moved from the trailer a few years ago, but I still do have the disc. This is a pretty good game as well. I like Samurai Warriors 2. Awesome campaigns. I like the individual stories. Extreme Legends is a pretty good expansion. I did grab it before the store went down. It's a good expansion. It adds characters. I like the HD, look of the game. It's definitely a huge improvement over playing it on PS2. You got 1080p, I believe 60 frames. Summer Warriors 2 is really fun. Another good Warriors game that's worth grabbing on 360. I don't know why this wasn't on PS3 over here. That's strange. Same thing with the Warriors Orochi games. So if you want to play them on PlayStation, you got to play them on PS2. So definitely get them on 360. The 360 was a really good system for Warriors games. It really was. Because you had this, you had Warriors Orochi 1 and 2. You know, and some other games I'll get into. So this game's pretty fun. I like this one as well. I also have Samurai Warriors 2 Empires, which is one of the kind of newer, later games I got from Xbox 360. But it's a really good game. I had a lot of fun with this one. Awesome game. It's basically like Empires games are more like the strategic kind of taking over bases and conquering everything more so than how the regular Samurai Warriors games are. And it was a pretty good game. I liked it a lot. This was on PS2 as well, but it didn't get no PS3 release, I don't think, which I think is a shame. They should have put them out on PS3. But yeah, it's just more reasons why the 360 is really good because if you want to play some of these Warriors games like this, if you want to play them in good quality, get them on the 360. Definitely worthwhile, in my opinion. Put that to the side. I got some other Warriors games. So another one I'll get into is Dynasty Warriors 6. This was the next gen Dynasty Warriors game for Xbox 360. And I revisited this game nowadays, and I do enjoy it, but it does have its problems. Cut characters like Meng Huo Wrong and others. Not every character has a campaign. The Rimbu system does have some issues because you only get combos if you level it up by attacking over and over again. There's no charge attacks. But I think there's a lot of cool things with this game, like a lot of the what if stuff. Like in Sun Jian's campaign, you literally get to go to Jia which is different because usually it's Wei and Shu or something. And Lu Bu's campaign is awesome, especially his last stage where he basically fights everybody, which is awesome. A lot of cool character designs. It was a different take on the Dynasty Warrior series, and I think it has a lot of potential if they would have just did another game and improved on a lot of things. I think they would have had something really good. The PS2 version of this game does have more content, which I haven't fully played yet. I will eventually get to it, but I enjoy Dynasty Warrior 6. It has its problems, but I still think it's pretty fun. It was something new for them to try in 360. I don't hate this game, to be honest. It does have problems though, but it is good. I used to have Dynasty Warrior 7, but I traded it in because I would like to eventually get the PS3 version because it has Extreme Legends. But yeah, Dynasty Warrior 7 was good. I like that one as well. It was kind of more back to the traditional ways of Dynasty Warriors. I did like Dynasty Warriors 8. I played that a ton on 360. That's another really good game. Like I said, man, 360 is a great system for Warriors games, especially the older titles with HD quality. And then I think I grabbed it though. I'm not sure. I want to make sure I get all the Warriors games here. I also have, yeah, I got a drawer right here, 360 games. I also have Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires, which is another really fun game. I haven't played it in ages, but back when I had it, it's really fun. So this is another solid title. It's the last Empires game with the English dub too, which is unfortunate. This game did have the DW6 PS2 special content with like Taishi Shi and some of the characters that got weapon changes and stuff. But hang on, I'm gonna look for another Warriors game I want to show. Okay, thankfully I found another game I own. Dinosaurs 5 Empires. Once again, another solid title to get on 360. It's basically Dinosaurs 5 Empires, which came out on PS2, but it looks really good. It's the only way you can really play Dinosaurs 5 in really good quality. Unfortunately, though, you can't get Dinosaurs 5 by itself on 360. It only came out in Japan, which is a shame because I would love to have that. But DW5 Empires is really fun as well. Really cool to have some type of DW5 in 360. Yeah, really good game. Really solid. Another good one. Some other games I'll get into. You know, other ones like Walking Dead Telltale. Just another good game. Season one's the best because you got Lee, which is a really good main character. This is a good take in the Walking Dead series. I like this game. It's pretty awesome. I did play it before digitally on Xbox One through Games with Gold, and then I played the demo. I did crap on this game at first because of its art style, but I was wrong. It's a pretty good game. So this is another cool game on Xbox 360. This is another recent game from a series, Silent Hill Homecoming. A lot of people crap on Silent Hill Homecoming. They say this game isn't that great, but I personally like it. I thought Silent Hill Homecoming was actually a really good game. It's a good over-the-shoulder Silent Hill game. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I didn't hate it as much as other people did. I think it's a good entry in the Silent Hill series. Silent Hill Downpour I also own, but I don't think it's as good as this one. But I think this is a pretty good game. It's worth playing. The only thing I don't like, one of the things I don't like about it though, is it has this crappy, like grainy filter, which I don't like. I don't like the grain filter it has. I think that's stupid, but it's a pretty good game. Another one that's pretty good. Another one that's a good game is Fallout New Vegas. Really good game as well. I like this one too. This is the 2 disc edition, which comes with the expansions on the second disc, which is really nice. I'm glad they did that. It's a pretty good game. I like the New Vegas setting. I like the companions, like Raul, voiced by Danny Trejo. And it's a good RPG. You can get to higher level in Fallout 3. There's some cool things that's, over Fallout 3, like more choices, aiming down the sights, some of the weapon mods. It's a really good game. I will say I do think Fallout New Vegas is slightly overrated because I feel like I don't know, like a lot of people hold this to higher regard than Fallout 3. And it just comes down to opinion and taste, obviously, but a lot of people hold Fallout New Vegas to higher degree than Fallout 3 simply because it has more choices. And yes, it does have more choices, but my problem with Fallout New Vegas compared to Fallout 3, the overall setting is not as good as Fallout 3 setting. So for me personally, it doesn't matter to me that it has more choices in Fallout 3 because I like the setting of Fallout 3 more. And plus, Fallout 3 came first. So I like Fallout New Vegas. I do think the game's a little overrated. I personally prefer Fallout 3 because it has a better setting and I just liked it more. But I still do like Fallout New Vegas. But if people have this as their favorite, I get it. But I just disagree. And, yeah, it's an RPG, but I also think you gotta have a good setting too. The setting itself is all right, but the Mojave Wasteland just isn't as interesting to me as the Capital Wasteland or the Mojave Desert, whatever it's called. But it is still a good game. It's definitely better than Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. I think we can all agree on that. And then, a few others I'll show. This is a pretty underrated game. It's definitely better than Gears 4 and 5 and the kind of style it is. And I highly recommend this game if you got an Xbox 360 or eventually pick it up. Inversion. This is a criminally underrated Xbox 360 game that I think is amazing. This is a solid title. This is really good. It's awesome. It's a really good third-person shooter. I enjoyed it. If you like Gears of War, you'll like this game. It's basically a Gears of War clone with gravity, and it's really fun to play. I enjoyed it. I wish they would do a sequel. Very underrated game. Highly recommend this one. I wish it would have done a lot better. This is another pretty good game to get. Another solid title. Another good series on the Xbox 360 was the Condemned series. I enjoyed both these games, so the first one's better. I reviewed both of them. And the first Condemned was an exclusive. Really good. Solid titles. Definitely some more stuff to get on 360. They should re-release those and do something new with them. And then another game I really liked on Xbox 360 was The Evil Within. That was an amazing survival horror game. It was really good, very underrated, very similar to RE4. I used to own it, but I traded it in because it's on PS4 and that's the better version. Another game I did own was Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Those are also really good games on 360. Revelations 2 I like a little bit more. Awesome games, but they're remastered, so I'll probably eventually get one on PS4. I do have two on PS4 as well. So those are some more solid titles. Resident Evil 5 and 6 I do own, but I those aren't really highlights for me personally. I used to like them, but they just don't hold up nowadays. I don't really like those games honestly anymore. They just weren't good follow-ups to Resident Evil 4. So Resident Evil didn't have some of its best moments on 360 to be honest. Silent Hill wasn't in its best state either, but I'll take Silent Hill, Homecoming, and Downpour and the HD collection crappiness over Resident Evil 5 and 6 if I had to choose. Another really good game on Xbox 360, Max Payne 3. Now this has crazy water damage because a long time ago I was trying to clean my cases and I did bad water damage. Now this had a two disc or something. The PS3 had one disc because PS3 had Blu-ray disc, 360 had DVD disc. And that's something I did forget to mention about Xbox 360. One of the nice things about this system is any of these games you put into this console, it plays. You do not have to do any installing. There's updates, which is dumb, and there was the inclusion of DLC microtransactions, which got worse as time went on. But I think the simplicity of just putting a disc in the game, putting a disc in the system and just playing it right away is awesome. There is an option to install the games, but for the most part, you can put these games in and play them, which is nice. It's the last console that allows you to do that, which is nice. I miss that. I don't understand why Blu-ray disc and Ultra HD Blu-ray disc have to install. It's like these are supposed to be better disc than DVD disc, and yet they have more inconveniences than the DVD discs do. Makes no sense to me. But that was a nice feature about 360. But Max Payne 3 was a good third-person shooter. I enjoyed it. Very hard game, that's for sure. I heard some people were big on it, didn't like it as Max Payne fans, but I liked it. It was a good game Rockstar was associated with. I I hear they're remaking or remastering the first two Max Payne games, which I'm interested to see how that turns out. I never played the multiplayer for this, but I do hope they remake Max Payne 1 and 2 with Max Payne 3 gameplay because I think they definitely need it. Because when I went back to Max Payne 1, it was just kind of dated, to be honest, you know. So I think they'll benefit from it. But this is another solid game on 360. And then, the last two I'll go through. One of the games I own digitally, but Red Dead Redemption. Well, there's another game I'll get into, which I forgot to include, which I'll talk about. Red Dead Redemption, awesome game. I only have the expansion pack physically of Undead Nightmare because I got this for like Christmas, so I got this first before the regular Red Dead Redemption. And this is an awesome game because it's Rockstar making a zombie game, which is really cool. Red Dead Redemption is a freaking awesome game. One of my favorite Rockstar games. And it was just a really good campaign. I like John Marston as a character. Having zombies in there was really cool because I'm a big zombie fan. And this is just really awesome, honestly. This game is really cool. One of the best expansion packs I've seen. Glad I got a physical release. I also own well, I don't own it, but on my cousin's account, we got Red Dead Redemption, the regular game, digitally. And that game is really good as well. Same thing I said about this applies to that as well. I need to eventually get the complete edition where it just has everything. Because Red Dead Redemption by itself is really good as well, but this is pretty good too. It's just a shame that, spoiler alert, both games, the main character dies. It's like, come on, you play Red Dead Redemption 1, John Marston dies. You play it in Nightmare, he dies. It's like he can't catch a break. But I guess at least in this one, you can play as a zombie and play as him instead of his son. But it's like, damn, it's like double the whatever the term is. But awesome game, really cool. I still need to play Red Dead Redemption 2 eventually, but this is another highlight on the 360. The regular game included as well, even though I don't have a physical version of it. I hated the ending of Red Dead 1, though I will say that. I did a rant video about it on my main channel back in the day. Another game that I wanted to include that's really good is Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, or Elder Scrolls V Oblivion, as Final Films would call it. So this is a really good game. It's a really good RPG. Personally, out of the Elder Scrolls game I played, it's the only one I really like. I don't know what it is. I could never get into Skyrim. I tried many times to get into Skyrim. I just couldn't get into Skyrim. I didn't like it. I don't know. I think it's probably the winter setting, the kind of lack of color. I liked Oblivion more, man. Oblivion had a better setting. I liked how there's more color in the game. I liked kind of the goofy voice acting and the way the characters' faces looked. It was funny. And I like the gameplay of this. This just clicked with me a lot more than Skyrim. I don't really care about Skyrim, to be honest. Just never could get into that game. But Oblivion, I think, is really cool. And, I never got to beat it and do everything in it, but I did play a lot of this at one point, and I would like to eventually go back to it because it is a really good RPG, leveling up. It's basically the medieval version of Fallout. And it's pretty good. It's another good, solid Bethesda title and a really good game on the Xbox 360. It's awesome. So for some people, like there's this common thing. There's some people like Elder Scrolls more, some people like Fallout more. I could definitely understand it, because they're both, well, at least this game, you know, I could fairly say, yeah, you could put this in the same category as Fallout 3 and stuff. It is a pretty solid title. They did do a remaster of this, which I would like to eventually try it. But yeah, another good game. Then the last one I'll talk about is Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is a really good superhero game on 360. It was released on so many platforms, but the 360 version I like the most because of 360 played it the most on it, and you got HD. Now this is a 2 disc. It comes with Forza Motorsport 2, but I don't care about that game because I don't give a shit about racing unless it's like Twisted Metal. But pretty good game. I would like to get the gold edition one day because that's the only way you can get all the DLC characters in this game because they took the DLC down. But it's so expensive, unfortunately. It really sucks. Because you get like Venom and Doctor Doom and stuff, and Activision really fumbled the remaster of these games because there's also Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, but I like it, but it's not as good as this one, man. It just isn't. This was the best one. I haven't got to play part 3, but this is another solid title. I would say the best way to play this game, but if you're rich enough, get the gold edition or the greatest hits that has the DLC. But yeah. So I'm gonna add this little part here because I did want to mention just this series at least because I know it was a big series in 7th Gen. So for the Xbox 360, Call of Duty, the series, I was never crazy into. I wasn't as into it as other people were. I loved Nazi Zombies. That was a very fun mode in Black Ops 1. I will say that. It had a great zombies mode, played it a ton. Played a ton of it on World at War. I do have some Call of Duty games like Black Ops 1 and MW2. I mean, I did kind of like the MW2 multiplayer. It could be fun. And I did play the campaign in Modern Warfare 2. And I did play the campaign on Black Ops 1. I mean, I would say I'm pretty casual when it comes to Call of Duty, but I'm not as into it as other people are. I'm just kind of sick of seeing Call of Duty because it comes out every single year. And there's other games and series I prefer more. And then, another series I'll throw in here as a last mention, Army of Two, I think was a pretty cool series, good third person shooter. I like the first one. I like the second one. Third one isn't as good. That is another good series as well. But yeah, just a little clip I wanted to put in this review, just mentioning some bonus things. So I wanted to mention two more game titles for the Xbox 360 review because I feel like it was necessary. One game I forgot to mention, Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 I used to have on 360, but eventually traded it in because it came out on PS4, which is the better version. Now, GTA 5 I did enjoy on the Xbox 360. I did think it was a pretty good game. I did like it more than GTA 4. The online I did like for a while, but I eventually got burnt out on it, and now I just think it's overdone, overrated, overplayed. Sick of GTA 5 online, but it still does have a good campaign. It's just a shame that that game was a start of Rockstar, not putting out as many games, just milking it to death. But it is a good game. Another good game that I wanted to mention, and the second game I wanted to mention was Wars Orochi 3. I did originally have Wars Orochi 3 on 360, and I hate that it doesn't have the English dub. I originally didn't get it because of that. But I did have Wars Orochi 3 on Xbox 360, and it is a really good game on there. It was solid. It was a good title in the series, though. Your best bet is getting the Ultimate Edition, which has even way more content than the original. So you're just better off getting it on PS4, Xbox One. Though I did wish it come with the DLC. But that is another pretty good game on the Xbox 360. But Yeah, the one clip about Call of Duty in this clip, these are just two bonus ones I wanted to put in here. 'Cause sometimes I record videos and go on the top of the head, especially if they're long videos like this. I might forget to mention certain things. I don't do scripts. It's not my style. It doesn't work with my personality. So yeah, that's the last bonus thing for this video. So yeah, overall, that's pretty much sums up in my talk review about Xbox 360. You know, this console is phenomenal and I love it. Great system, great controller, great library of games. There's more 360 games I own, but I just wanted to show a decent chunk of them. I don't want to go through every single one because, it's just an in general review. It's not a review of every single game. It's not 360 collection type thing, but it's a solid system. And it's my favorite because of the amount of games on it, the amount of series like Dead Rising, Gears of War, Fallout, Left 4 Dead, and many other games is why it's my favorite, as well as the Xbox Live infrastructure. It's the best system. It's the one I went back to the most, played the most. It's my all-time favorite. And I think this is Xbox's last good console because the Xbox One just wasn't a good follow-up to this system. Its first-party library was not as interesting. The Series X I haven't played or gotten, but I'm not really interested in it. I mean, I want to play Gears of War E-Day, but the system's up to $600, which is bullshit. And if you buy the system, you got to do a one-time internet check-in to use it, so that's dumb. But yeah, there's other exclusives on Xbox 360, like there's the Halo series as well, which I know is a series a lot of people like. I never really got into Halo personally; it just isn't my thing. But I'll admit, I did have some fun, technically, I guess, with Halo Reach multiplayer. But I think it's because I was playing with friends. Anything or a lot of things could be better, or at least fun with friends, you know. But that is another exclusive to the series a lot of people love. So that's another, that could be another highlight for people that love the 360. But I'm not into Halo personally, more of a Gears of War guy and other series guy. But that's it for my review of the Xbox 360 console. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Xbox 360. Let me know what your favorite console is. That's it for this video. Peace out.